Hi there, and welcome to Under the Spell of Books, where we explore the captivating world of fantasy books. I'm Jessica, and here I share my thoughts on the stories that have transported me to new realms, introduced unforgettable characters, and sparked my imagination. If you're a fellow lover of fantasy, you're in the right place, whether we're ranking my latest reads, diving into book reviews, or discussing all things magical and mythical. There's always something exciting to discover here. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's talk about books. So today we're going to go through all my January reads. I read quite a few books in January, and I haven't talked about any of them, which is sort of sad. Yeah, I know. So, since I don't have anyone in real life to talk to, I'm counting on you, my, I hope, existent internet friends and fellow lovers of books to share some of my thoughts about them and be ranking them also, which is the most important thing. So, my first read of the year was the book four. Is it four? No, it's book three from the Crowns of Nyaxia world by Carissa Broadbent. So it's called The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, and it's centered on the story of Mish. Mish, who we met uh, in the first book of this series. And she was sort of the very nice side character that could be occasionally badass, but not as much as Araya, if you know what I mean. So I came into this book with zero to low expectations, maybe low to zero. I don't know how you guys say it, but I actually didn't have any expectations. I really loved the Crowns of Nyaxia first duology. But then I tried to read some of Carissa Broadbent books, and despite popular opinion, I didn't like The War of the Lost Hearts. Please don't come and attack me. I believe that everyone has its own taste, right? But this particular book, I didn't like it because I felt, well, we're not here to discuss about it, but I couldn't identify myself with the main characters or any of the characters in the book really. Um, I get that the magic system is super interesting as well as the plot, but it just wasn't for me. I did read the three books though, but skipped a lot of passages because I just wanted to like know what the story is about, give it a honest shot, and that was it. So talking about the book in question, The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, what do you think I thought about this book? Well, I'm not going to make any suspense about it. Okay. Mish and the Shadow Daddy. Why is it always Shadow Daddies? I don't know. It's always the same powers. But every time you're like, ooh. But anyway, Mish and Azar, I really love them both. I could identify with both of them, surprisingly. Even though I'm not a priestess or the warden of a mystical prison, it's because both of them lived through a lot in their life. And both of them were deeply scarred, and I felt like they were healing together. And it took some time, but it wasn't that enemies to lover where they try to kill each other, even though they think about it. And so I think the fact that they never mistreated one another physically, and they could have thought things badly about the other or anything before knowing, but that they quickly realized the inner strength of each one and came to love that person for who they were instead of their beauty or circumstance. I think that was the most beautiful thing. And this is a bit of a spoiler. No, that's not spoiler. Okay. No spoiler alert, sorry. Um Also, I loved the gods mention and how they like to interfere with us humans, well, they're not humans, they're vampires, but you get what I mean. Like when you're faced with a situation where someone that has power is actually controlling your life for something that doesn't mean anything for you, like petty things. And okay, in the book there are gods, right? So they can like kill you with a wave of a hand. But in real life you also have these super powerful people, like let's say like government people or really rich business people who can make decisions that are going to deeply impact your life, like on a whim. And I hope they don't do it. I think they don't do it, but decisions that could kill you directly or indirectly. And the fact that Mish has to come to terms with whether does she live her life the way she wants to, or does she stay a puppet of the gods. So I really enjoyed this book. The rating is without any surprise 5 out of 5. I could read you some some highlighted sections of the book, but I won't do it because otherwise it's going to be spoilers, and I really want you to discover this amazing book by yourselves. So, next up, what do we have? We have My Fourth Ring and Iron Flame rereads in anticipation of Onyx Storm, of course. So, if you're not familiar with the Empyrean series, I'm very sad for you. How? Why are you watching a book talk like boosted gram of booktube? I don't know video. If you haven't watched read the Imperium yet, okay. No judgment. You just go pick it up right now. So I reread Fourth Ring and Iron Flame, five stars reads all along. I could actually understand some things that I didn't understand in my first reread of Fourth Ring, and this was my first reread of Iron Flame. Um, Also, so I actually read them faster than I thought I was going to read them. So I had to read another book, waiting for Onyx Storm because I was a week earlier when I finished or Iron Flame. So I read Nettle and Bone by T.Kingfisher, which is a nice little fairy tale, which is not nice at all, about a princess that wants to kill a prince who is not a prince, is a king, who mistreats her sister. So she gathers a little band of old ladies who are witches and fairy godmothers, warrior, sort of prisoner, and her, along with a dog made of bones and a possessed chicken. And yeah, it's a nice little time. um I won't say it was my favorite book ever. I won't say it was the worst book either. It was a nice book to pass the time while waiting for Onyx Storm, because it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's not a romantasy. There is mention of romance for my I need romance in a book, girlies. Is not a bad thing. I often say that. I need romance in my books. I don't need them to be the main plot. I need them as a subplot just so I can see that the main character has something to live for. Um, but even though I read quite some romanticities and I also like for the romance to be like next to the plot, but I don't like when the romance is the plot. Otherwise, I would read romance. I don't read romance. I read fantasy. So carry on. Anyway, yeah, I know sometimes I can be a little bit. Just bear with me, please. Next, I read Onyx Storm. Yes, Onyx Storm. Honestly, 5-star read. Rebecca Yarros, I thought I was going to read this book and be settled on a lot of questions I had when I finished Iron Flame. Let's just say I have more questions now than I had a month ago. And every time that I see some video on Book Talk or something on Bookstagram, it just raises new questions because other people are thinking about it. So they think about something and say, "Oh, hey guys, did you see da da da? What do you think about this?" And in my head, I was, "Oh shit, I didn't think about it. I have to go back and read it again." And so it's so interesting. Anyway, yeah, it's so interesting. So 5-star read also. Next up, I could keep talking about Honest Storm, but I think you are already heard a lot about it from everywhere. So I don't feel it's something that I need to go deep into it. My rating is 5-star. That's it. Let's wait 2 years to know what follows. And my last trilogy, which was like actually a trilogy, completed series in of January, was the Prison Healer series. I read the three books by Lynette Noni about a healer in a prison. I think the prison name is Zalendov, who has to complete a couple of trials to get out of the prison and liberate the rebel queen. We don't actually know why she's doing it. Oh, yeah, we know it's because her family asked her to keep the queen alive, but we don't actually know why. We find out in the end of the book, which is actually a plot twist, and you're like, ah, it's not a spoiler. It's just to say, tell you keep reading it because at first I was like, okay, this book is nice, but um, I have too many questions, and it's like, am I going to get the answers of this question? So, if in case you're like this, I'm going to tell you, yes, you're going to have all the answers to all your questions by the end of the first book, and that's going to make you want to read the second and the third book. The first book for me was a 4-star read, while the second and the third book were 5 stars. I would say the third was more of a 4.5, but yeah, let's just say 5 stars. Read, I overall is a very good trilogy, very good series. Is YA. It does have quite a nice romance. I think the romance is more um, out there than in Needle and Bone. It's not comparison because Prison Healer is more of a romantasy than not. Uh, the plot is quite interesting also, and the plot is the main thing. I just would like to see a little bit more romance, even though it was like up there. It just it's a YA, and I know people are going to tell me, yeah, it's a YA, that's why it's not explicit, it's not an adult romantasy. I don't want spicy scenes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that maybe we could have more emotional scenes where we actually see how they're feeling. We get it that they're in love and they, you know, together forever. But I just feel like that in the first book, their romance is really slow, so it's nice. But then I feel that it goes very fast and it gets to an intensity that I don't quite understand why they are so hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand, but I would like more development so that I could feel it in my bones. I still felt it though, because I can like relate to books and stuff. But anyway, I will stop bothering you now. If you want to see my next reads, like the reads of the month of February, which I think I'm going to read more books because January was a bit slow. I was the beginning of the year. I was like, Onyx Storm is gonna come out, so I'm going to read really slowly because I'm just thinking about this book. So in the end, I only read 8 books. It could have been better. But just a little spoiler ahead, in February, just the first half of February, while I'm filming this video, I have already read 12 books in February. So I'm not going to do a video like this one where I talk about my February reads. I'm going to talk about my first half of February reads and maybe second half of February reads, which I don't think so because I don't see how I'm going to read 12 books in 2 weeks. Oh, I already done it. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more fantasy book discussions. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What did you think of the books I talked about today? Any recommendations for what I should read next? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Until next time, happy reading, and I'll see you in the next episode.